Globetrotters are picking up the Tassadar.
Tassy Pants. Tassy Pants is going to go great with that Uther, really building out some great tankiness and some great support with lots of good shielding and good healing in the Nexus Globetrotters. So TBA is going to have to respond. They have the healing down. They've got that Rhaegar Malfurion ready to keep Vala alive to do lots of damage, but they are going to need a tank, and they're probably going to be looking for some more damage, maybe a specialist. They did enjoy playing with a Nazebo last game, so we'll see if we're going to see something similar this game. Do you have any predictions, Gilly?
Oh, I'm wondering if they'll take the Stitches again. It seemed like he was pretty squishy for Nexus Globetrotters, but what I'm noticing is it seems like for the most part these are very similar to last game, and there's a bit of a change. So they thought the Stitches was squishy. They're going to go for someone who's got a bit more tankiness, if you will, in the Muradin.
Right, and he can escape very easily, which is something that Stitches cannot do. So they are sacrificing the hook ability here, but we did see that those hooks weren't as beneficial for TBA as they maybe hoped they were, so they're backing off and saying, let's just give something a little more solid with a little more mobility. It's going to be harder to kill.
Yes, for sure. And I think that they'll be looking to just round out their damage a little bit more with this final pick. I wouldn't be surprised to see maybe a Tychus. That'd be pretty solid. I don't know. I think that's maybe what it'll be. What do you think?
I think a Tychus would be what I would pick, but I wouldn't be surprised to see a specialist like a Nazebo.
Yeah, that's true.
We haven't seen the presence of a lot of other specialists, but Nazebo's kind of been accepted into the assassin crew, if you will. And we do see Tychus. So again, really good as a caster when you get those right. Good job,
right. Thanks. Well, the Nazebo with the ETC wasn't really finding, I think, they had a couple of good ravenous spirits, but with ETC it's always I don't know if it's gonna work or not, and so I think they were looking to mix that up a little bit. And I think same on this side, Nexus Globetrotters just rounding out their damage a little bit. They might go for the Nazebo. Who knows? I don't know. Do you have any other thoughts maybe?
I mean, Nazebo is probably the one that's expected. We did see them play around with Jaina, who does a ton of damage. So if they feel like they can protect her with a Tassadar and an Uther, but they've already got Illidan, who's pretty squishy to deal with as well. So they may not want to have to do that much shielding and healing. Other than that, though, there's not a whole lot that would be very predictable unless they went for someone like a Tyrande to go into a 3 support meta that also has kind of an assassin-y feel. But they do go for the Jaina. So, okay, really looking for lots of damage, and they're going to have to play Protect the Squishy pretty well.
Protect the Squishy sounds good to me. They did it last time. Can they do it in Game 2? Let's find out. We're on Dragonshire once again. We've got the Nexus Globetrotters versus TBA. I'm going to switch into our overlays there, and I think we are all set to go.
So if you're just joining us, or you've been living under a rock, or you've never played Heroes before, or you just like to hear the sound of my voice, I can explain Dragonshire for you, which is the map we're going on to. We just played it. Dragonshire can become a really interesting kind of TikTok or seesaw or just slamming heads type of situation because teams are trying to grab 2 shrines at the top and bottom of the map. Once they do, then they will activate the middle shrine, which is the Dragon Knight, and they will be trying to grab the Dragon Suit, as I call it. The Dragon Knight is someone that you can become, get more abilities, do tons of damage, and do lots of damage to your opponent's team. But neither team wants to let their opponents do that. So a lot of times what happens is that one team will control the top shrine, one team will control the bottom shrine, and they'll kind of seesaw back and forth between those until somebody makes a mistake or somebody grabs an advantage. In the previous game, we saw Nexus Globetrotters did take that first advantage. They, if you remember, were the first ones to take that Siege Giant camp, which gave them a little bit more push, and ultimately they were the ones who came out on top and won the game. Although there are plenty of indicators that went into making that the reality. So we'll be looking to see what advantages these teams can take against each other in order to take the Dragon Knight as many times as possible and ultimately win the game.
We are heading into Game 2 between the Nexus Globetrotters and TBA. TBA's got to win this game to bring it back so that they can go into Game 3. Otherwise, it will be Nexus Globetrotters moving on to the finals. So, for Team Blue, we have the Bears on Tychus, Bishop on Muradin, Nuddle on Malfurion, Iceboxed on Vala, and Dylan on Rhaegar.
And just to keep things confusing, they have switched colors, so now the Nexus Globetrotters are in red. Kiefer's is on ETC, Anxiety Law will be playing Tassadar, Cossacks is on Jaina, Bellamorte will be playing Illidan, and Teebs will play Uther. They are all running, again, 4 to the middle and 1 to the top. I think they did this last time, so agreeing, perhaps a gentleman's agreement that they shall fight in the middle. And it looks like TBA not being willing to stand and fight for too long, as they are playing a little bit of Protect the Squishy of their own.
A gentleman's fight that we indeed like to see. The more action, the better. And everyone's starting to split up into lanes to start capitalizing on that experience gain as we go into soon the first shrines.
It's interesting, DeBears and Bellamorte are playing some sort of Heidi standoff game. DeBears is hiding in bushes up top. Bellamorte is hiding in bushes closer to mid, both waiting for the other to appear, and they will wait into eternity for each other.
Who will it be? Who will it be? Who will move first? This is... I can't look away. I'm scared if I look away, they'll move. Okay, DeBears now leaves. Oh my goodness, thank you.
DeBears is convinced that he is alone and goes to soak up some experience. And Bellamorte just waiting for his time to strike. Nope, not striking, just going for just running in circles.
Yeah. All right, so the shrines are up. For now, bottom shrine is going to belong to TBA. They will, and they seem to have top now as well. So it will be up to Nexus Globetrotters to try to bring it back, take at least one of the shrines. And in the meantime, Jaina's definitely got to keep Malfurion off of that Dragon Knight.
Yeah, they do not want to give up a Dragon Knight. Although, like we said, the Dragon Knight early on in the game is less of a threat than later on in the game. But you just never want it to happen if you can avoid it. And as we can see, Nexus Globetrotters is really committing to saying, no, you cannot have this dragon. We will stop you from doing it. And ETC is going to take over as Mr. Tank, the Rockstar himself. He will guard the middle while the rest of his team goes and tries to take this bottom shrine. Better to have a shrine than to team fight at the dragon if you can avoid it.
Showing a lot of confidence and not really trying immediately to go for one of those shrines. They really believe in their ability to keep them from taking the Dragon Knight. For me, I would be like, we have to get a shrine, guys, we have to get a shrine. So this is really interesting to me that they're not trying to get a shrine necessarily. They're just focusing on their experience gain. They are creeping ahead a little bit and maybe going to try to catch Tychus out and surprise them by not going back down to bottom. They do jump down, a ton of damage. Oh my goodness, that was so much damage between Jaina, Tassadar, and Illidan on Tychus. That he dropped instantly. The Envenom from Jaina really helping out from that as well. If you notice, she took that. And they're going to be able to take that top shrine back now.
Wow, yeah, I think that they were definitely looking for that pick. They were hoping that they could just bring their enemy team down one person, and that would give them enough of an advantage to then sweep the shrines and hopefully take a Dragon Knight of their own. I think that's what they were looking for. And like you said, that damage just melted Tychus, and that has got to be the most frustrating feeling in the world, to not be able to run and hide, even when you're that close to your own gate.
Yeah, for sure. It's actually given a little bit of an experience advantage to our red team, the Nexus Globetrotters. They've hit their level 7 talents. It's only a tiny bit earlier than our TBA, so probably won't be able to get too much done with it, but for the time being, TBA had to just focus on experience and not getting caught out of position.
You know, and they're still not really trying for this Dragon Knight. They really are unconcerned with taking these shrines. So perhaps my hypothesis was wrong. I think maybe you're right. They are just completely unconcerned with grabbing the Dragon Knight right now and really want to just focus on playing, grabbing picks where they can, building up XP. Although their opponents, TBA, have grabbed one siege camp and they have not grabbed any mercenaries, although we do see Illidan starting to take on the Bruisers here in the top on the side of Nexus Globetrotters.
Yeah, it was interesting that TBA stuck down and got those bottom bridges. Just going to put a lot of pressure on bottom and just keep that shrine safe for TBA for a bit while the Nexus Globetrotters have to deal with that. But top shrine still belonging to Nexus Globetrotters, so while they were able to defend, they didn't have to worry about losing the dragon to TBA.
Yeah, we do see these bruisers are going to start pushing top. That's going to be something that TBA is going to have to deal with. Although they, I mean, how do you think if you were them, you would go about trying to grab the Dragon Knight that you've had almost ready for so long?
I just think that it's way more important. They've been behind in experience this entire time, although they've had the shrines. Nexus Globetrotters are right at hitting 10, so it's going to be of utmost importance that TBA do not get caught out while they are not level 10, because they can't let Nexus Globetrotters increase their experience game by too much.
Yeah, it's like Nexus Globetrotters are kind of the cool kids that are setting the trend right now. TBA's back on that old style where they're like, oh, we got to grab this Dragon Knight. Nexus Globetrotters is like, oh, have you heard? Dragon Knight's so uncool now. What's really cool is just getting XP and killing you. So that's what they're trying to do. Although it looks like Anxiety Law is willing to go a little throwback, a little retro on his style, and maybe grab the Dragon Knight if it comes his way.
Yeah, same heroics as before. The Stage Dive, Archon, Water Elemental, Metamorphosis, and Divine Storm. We've got the Laser Drill, though, coming out from Tychus and
Third
TBA.
time we've seen it tonight.
I know, right? That Laser Drill. Strafe. Now, Twilight Dream from Malfurion. That could make all the difference. It's a huge silence for 3 seconds right around you. We'll have to see what Malfurion can do with that. Meanwhile, Teebs is running out, trying not to get cut out. Dylan's got to get away because he got stage dove on. He gets dropped really quickly. Now Bishop is jumping away. Avatar is great, but not if you are super low. Icebox is going to die. The Kiefer's axe. And that's going to be 3 heroes down for TBA.
Wow, very interesting. We saw the laser drill going super ham on Illidan, and Illidan did look like he was getting low, but the amount of healing that's going on with Nexus Globetrotters and the consciousness of protecting the squishies who are doing so much damage, Jaina doing a really great job standing back and dealing that damage from afar while the rest of her team blocks for her, really makes this an optimal time for them to go ahead, win that fight, and grab the Dragon Knight.
I think the name of the Illidan game is Illidan gets super low and looks like he's going to die, but then somehow miraculously doesn't and heals all the way back
right.
up. That's just how it is. That's how it's been every game. So Bellamorte takes out a couple towers, but without too much support there, is going to get dropped rather quickly from Icebox, Bishop, and Dylan. So he's going to run away. He's going to try to take his fire-breathing wares elsewhere. Maybe they can get some damage down on this middle fort. It's wide open. There's no gate there. But once again, everyone's going to circle down, and he's going to have to get out once again.
Yeah, and that's smart. You know, you don't want to overextend as the Dragon Knight because, again, once you pop out, you are just yourself. Bellamorte doesn't want to be alone without his teammates. Even though the Dragon Knight can kind of push and be fine, really, Illidan, once he pops out, doesn't want to be alone. Looks like Jaina and Illidan will kind of be mid. They'll run to join Uther because they want to be next to his delicious supportive powers. And they'll start to roam as a group, which is a smart thing to do at this point in the game.
Once again, we're seeing Nexus Globetrotters not only steal, or no, I guess they were just taking out that camp. They wanted to steal the camp, but they also have an experience lead. They've got the level 13 talents. They're going to be a little bit more beefier until TBA can grab a couple more minions and get the level 13 ones of their own, which they have now. Unfortunately, that created a little bit of space for Nexus Globetrotters to go ahead and grab those bottom bruisers.
Which they will do, and they do have both of their mercenary camps now on their side of the map available, but they know that those are a little bit safer for them, so they don't have to go grab them right away. Now, since they're all together bottom and they've got these bruisers pushing, they're going to take advantage of that and push in the bot lane, but TBA is going to respond by bringing everyone in, and it's time for a nice, juicy team fight.
Keepers are taking a ton of damage from that laser drill. He's going to have to back away from it. Anxiety Law trying her way, has the prescience. Is it Archon? Got shield. Dylan's trying, he takes him out. Keepers is also really low. Can he be taken out as well? They're trying, they're hunting for him. He's got to heal from Uther. He's got to get behind that gate. Oh my gosh, I can't believe he did. Just barely gets behind the gate. They did get the Illidan and the Tassadar though. That's a lot of damage from Nexus Globetrotters. And that was a huge win for TBA. They're going to be able to put a lot of damage on this fort. And Nexus Globetrotters aren't going to be able to answer it.
Yeah, interesting to note that Nexus Globetrotters says, you know what, we're not going to worry about defending because we know we're in danger when we're 3-on-5. We're going to instead go grab the advantages that are available to us, which are our mercenary camps that we had been saving for later. So Bellamorte is going to grab these bruisers, and Uther and Kiefer's are going to, Teebs and Kiefer's are going to be starting to run around the map trying to get ready for the dragon.
It was interesting to me that they picked up the Giants. I think they knew that they wouldn't be able to do much with them, the Siege Giants here, but at least they would make sure the TBA wouldn't be able to snag them right after they took out that fort. So that at least was good. They're about the same, although for the Nexus Globetrotters are still a little bit ahead in experience, but Keepers is cut out from the whole team of TBA. He tried to mosh, but nobody wanted to dance with him. They just wanted to kill him.
Aww. Dancing by himself. Yeah, the Nexus Globetrotters. Yeah, Nexus Globetrotters really does need to be together to be very effective the way that they've built their team comp. So they probably don't want to be caught out. If anyone could, ETC probably can, but at this point, probably best that they stay together. Maybe not a great choice on his behalf, and it is going to give TBA some room to really do some damage to this top lane. That is not going to be good for the Nexus Globetrotters.
They are trading forts, though, because Nexus Globetrotters have decided to go and take out the fort here in mid, so that was a good choice, but they do need to make sure that they get out. TBA is hunting for them. They're the same in talents. They really want to catch them out. They don't have their tank right now, or can he stage dive in? I think he is preparing to. Yep, there's the stage dive, as I thought. And now I think we're going to have a team fight. Bellamorte is jumping in on DeBears. Gonna scooch back just a bit, hide behind that much tankier ETC. They're posturing. That part, when you're running around waiting for someone to engage, is like the scariest part for me always.
They're doing quite a dance here. They know that being in close quarters can be really dangerous, and they both want to give themselves the optimum positioning. And actually, Nexus Globetrotters making the decision to say, we're not going to lose out on any more XP. Fine, if you guys won't fight us, we're going to run to lanes real quick and grab some of it.
To lanes, and also they want to pick up those shrines. They grabbed bottom for a second, but TBA is already taking that back. ETC is going to get top, though, so they're going to delay that Dragon Knight just for a bit as everyone tries to figure out what to do. Now, notice this is a really tough time for everyone. All of the Merc camps are taken. Globetrotters do have to defend a little bit here in mid, but everyone's just trying to figure out what to do, and it looks like TBA will push down that mid gate fort area place thing.
That place where there's stuff that they want to kill. They're going to kill it. Yeah, that was a smart decision, because when there's nothing to do on the map, standing around is going to be like losing for you. You need to do something to take advantage of that time. You should always be working on something. So choosing to do a little bit of damage there when they could is a great idea. Now they're going to run and try to steal this siege camp. Do you think they can do it? It's 5-on-5.
They do take it. Keepers, I think, wanted to maybe stage dive over or push him, but he was rooted, so he couldn't really get the engage right away that Globetrotters were waiting for. And still just waiting on this Dragon Shine. There's a good minion push going top on that last fort for TBA. They'll probably have to answer that. Well, looks like it's being taken out. Maybe they won't have to. Never mind.
That last fight was interesting because it was 5-on-5, and Bellamorte was kind of looking like he was ready to jump into the fight and decided not to. Another example of teams kind of evaluating the costs and benefits of a situation. For some reason, Nexus Globetrotters thought that letting them steal those Siege Giants was better than throwing themselves into the fray. I didn't see it, but did you, Gilly?
See what? I'm sorry. I was clicking around on the million things happening in the game. See why Illidan decided not to go in?
Yeah.
I think he was just waiting on ETC to go and wanted ETC to do the initial initiation, and ETC was rooted from Malfurion, so he couldn't really go in and get the engage that he wanted.
Yeah, and if they're not getting the perfect engage, I guess they just don't want it. They want it all or not at all.
Whew. Verdun had a great stun on Jaina that made my heart stop, but she quickly sprinted away. Sprint is a great talent for those of you who are wanting to do Jaina players. Like we said, she doesn't really have much of an escape, so that's really nice. Oh no, ETC, why are you over there? Run, Kiefer's, with all of your cow legs you possibly can. He is going to hop right out of there.
A very good use there of that ability, because if Kiefer's had died there, that would not have been good for his team. very good now that they are going to be able to push with these bruisers up here in the top and take advantage of that minion push, also grabbing a shrine for themselves so that their enemies cannot grab Dragon Knight while they are missing from mid.
So Icebox has to come back because those bruisers had such a good push there on bot. It's all the way to taking down that gate before the final keep. And meanwhile, Nexus Globetrotters really want to take out that last fort of TBAs, putting them in an advantage, just a little bit more in experience and also in structures. But once again, TBA are going to try to answer by taking down another structure of their own.
Yeah, it's interesting. Kiefer's is now going to be alone again, pushing in this top lane. I was going to say that it's really smart that if Kiefer's has his ultimate ability ready, he can just do whatever he wants and then use it at the last second to run to his team. And it looks like right now, TBA is kind of recognizing that ETC is not there and maybe going ETC hunting.
Yep, ETC hunting, and they want to try to take that top shrine. It looks like maybe they're going to get that dragon shrine. But once again, oh, this time he just left. He realized that people were heading out. But I do think that TBA might be able to pick up this Dragon Knight. Kiefer's is going to run in. And they stopped, but it's just Kiefer's. Everyone else is trying to deal with the map pressure. And, oh, they did pick up the bottom shrine. So we're back to 1-1 with the shrines. And this dragon is tough for one team to get. Look at this. Look at this setup that they've got here.
Wow. And they are managing to grab those siege giants, really trying to take every advantage. And it will be important that Nexus Globetrotters does keep up that push with their mercenaries, because they do have them pushed so far in. If they can keep doing that, that's going to be great. It looks like they've got Kiefer's positioned here in the middle, not afraid to be alone. They are going to have to make sure that the middle doesn't get taken because a Dragon Knight is available, although they did send Anxiety Lull up there to maybe look to grab the shrine, although he didn't. He came back for the fight.
He did. Kiefer's got stuck in a very line route, was able to get out. Now Nuddle is very low, but he gets healed. Unfortunately, that meant Vala doesn't get the heals, and Vala fell. And it looks like Bishop is running around trying to stun everybody with this giant hammer as Avatar. Illidan is just not taking damage. ETC says, you're not going anywhere. And Illidan's really close to getting Rhaegar. He's about got him. He should get him. And that's 2 heroes down for TBA. And now, with level 20 talents, Storm talents for Nexus Globetrotters, they should be able to pick up that Dragon Knight. They're ready. They're at both shrines. Illidan is ready for the Dragon Knight. It's going to go to Nexus Globetrotters.
Jaina is in trouble, though. She overextended herself, and she should be in the back and dies for it. Jaina being too confident, knowing her team was in position and running too far forward. That's something that they really didn't want to happen while they had all these advantages in line.
Yeah, probably trying to zone and keep people away from stopping the Dragon Knight, but unfortunately losing her life for it. And now they're just going to try to get as much damage done, even though they know that they don't have Jaina there to do a lot of damage.
Yeah, also, where is Illidan? Oh. So now they're on the retreat. Unfortunately, that pick probably cost them a lot of push that they could have done there. Looks like Bellamorte is going to try and rotate bottom maybe, or maybe just trying to distract the rest of TBA while his teammates do something else. But there's not a whole lot to do on the map right now, and Bellamorte is just kind of on the escape at the moment.
It's interesting note that Jaina is topping hero damage for their team, so that's, like we said, lots of damage, 0 escape.
Yeah.
And now, TBA has grabbed their stored level talents as well, so we're all tied up with the talents. Bellamorte, the dragon finally drops, and Illidan gets out of there in a hurry.
Ooh, a root coming out from Alfirian. Jaina is finally back in the fight, but she doesn't want to jump that far forward. She remembers her mistake from last time, kind of backs up and is trying to do damage for her team. Ooh, that laser cannon is not going to feel good on the back of Jaina, but Nexus Globetrotters pushing their way back forward here in the mid lane. A little bit more XP, and now that they've got their damage dealers back, they know they can do a lot.
They're just going to try to take these sieges because they've pushed away TBA. TBA is just going to go up and try to get the bruisers. They know that Nexus Globetrotters are at their sieges, but choose not to answer it and instead are just going to go take their bruisers. I think Nexus Globetrotters will just try to get all of those bottom siege camps This is the time when you want to try to be getting those siege camps while the dragon shrines are down at nights, and nobody can be trying to get the knight as well.
Yeah, interesting that we see Nexus Globetrotters sending 2 to go grab the bruisers and sending 3 potentially down here to the neutral bruisers, while we see 5 from TBA going for the neutral bruisers. So if we see the rest of the team from Nexus Globetrotters coming down, they likely won't contest as soon as they see that there are 5. It looks like TBA actually is not going to grab them because they don't want them to know they're there. I'm not sure why.
I think they didn't know if Nexus Globetrotters were coming down or not, possibly. They didn't really have the vision to know how many of Nexus Globetrotters were there. So TBA just going to back up. They could have secured it, but they weren't quite sure, and so that's going to give Nexus Globetrotters the ability to pick it up now, and they're going to have quite the Merc advantage going in to the Dragon Shrines, but Keepers is going to hop in, takes quite a bit of damage, unfortunately. De Beers is the line in the line of fire for Illidan. Malfurion goes, and so does Tychus, but the laser drill deals a ton of damage to Illidan. He has to back up. Rhaegar follows. Belamorte's trying really hard to deal with Muradin. He's very tanky, guys. He's got a lot of health, but probably not quite enough health. I don't know, Jaina. Oh man, the dwarf toss gets him away at the last second. Unfortunately, with 3 heroes down, though, they're going to lose this keep.
Yeah, Muradin, as good as dead as well, has to go back and heal up before he can come back. Icebox doing as much damage with her little bows as it can. And actually, you know, Nexus Globetrotters realizing that they are wounded. It's not best to keep pushing when you don't have to. They're going to fall back, let their bruisers do some work on those buildings, while they go back and look for some advantages, like potentially taking the Dragon Knight, while their opponents are still about 10 seconds at least away from being back on the map.
Oh yeah, they'll for sure get this Dragon Knight, and with taking out that bottom keep, they definitely accomplished what they wanted, which was to start getting catapults spawning. Catapults deal a ton of siege damage and basically will make sure that the lane stays pushed as long as nobody is contesting it. So it basically means that every once in a while someone from TBA will have to go back and deal with those sieges and those catapults. Now Bishop is trying to jump in and make something happen. De Beers is doing a ton of damage to Jaina, who sprints away, and she's going to come back into the fight, and we've got Illidan back too. And Keepers of the Dragon Knight is just sitting there throwing fire on everybody. They take out Tychus. Belamorte is right inside, but he's going to get pretty low. He's going to maybe not die.
He's alive all the time. It's amazing.
The story of the game. Instead, they lose Rhaegar. Icebox trying to catch that Jaina, but she gets away just in time. Icebox has to jump out because Muradin's the next victim, and Icebox knows that she's next.
Yeah, Jaina doing a really, really great job, or rather Cossacks playing Jaina, with the exception of that one time being too far forward, has constantly been back far behind the team, dealing damage from out of the way of harm, which is how you've got to play Jaina, otherwise she will constantly die.
I mean, that's definitely the game when you play Jaina. You know you don't have an escape, so you've got to make up for it by dealing a ton of damage and being exactly where you need to be. But that's game, guys. Nexus Globetrotters are going to take game 2, which means that they are moving on to the finals. Great job to both teams, but congrats, Nexus Globetrotters! Woo!
Yeah, some really great games. Awesome to watch these teams. Thanks for providing some awesome entertainment as well as education for us. Guys, if you know anyone on these teams, or you can find them on Twitter, be sure to tell them thank you for the games.